Hi everyone, thank you for watching this video today. I'm Joanne and today I'm going to be talking to you about the speaking section of the IELTS exam. Today we will focus on part 1 of the speaking exam and our topic is home. Remember, the speaking exam lasts roughly 15 minutes and is split into 3 parts. As I said, today we will focus on part 1 of the exam. So remember to check out the other videos in this series for more information on the exam itself, marking criteria, exam tips and useful phrases, as well as example questions and model answers. In part 1 of the exam, the examiner asks the candidate general questions on some familiar topics. This part of the test focuses on the candidate's ability to communicate opinions and information on everyday topics and common experiences by answering a range of questions. Let's take a look at some vocabulary that will help you talk about your home. So, can you match the British English words on the left to the American English ones on the right? So, number 1 is a flat. Number 2, a terraced house. Number 3, a garden. Number 4, a dustbin. Number 5, a tap. Number 6, the ground floor. And number 7, a semi-detached house. I suggest that you pause the video here to make a note of your answers. Now let's check the answers. Number 1, a flat is an apartment. Number 2, a terraced house is a row house. Number 3, a garden is a backyard. Number 4, a dustbin is a trash can. Number 5, a tap is a faucet. Number 6, the ground floor is the first floor. Number 7, a semi-detached house is a duplex. So I suggest that you make a note of any that you got wrong or found difficult. Also, to help improve your vocabulary and confidence, try creating sentences with these words to make sure that you can use them correctly. Remember to share your sentences in the comment section or with your teacher. So, let's take a look at our first example question. Tell me something about your home. I live in a terraced house in the centre of a small town. It's quite an old building. I think it was built in 1910, but I really like it. There are 2 floors and the rooms are quite large. On the other hand, my parents decorated it and it doesn't suit my taste. There is far too much green. So, this is a solid band 6 answer. And as I mentioned before, one of the marking criteria is lexical resource, or the candidate's vocabulary and how well they use it. So how do you think we could improve this answer? This is a marking criteria for a band 7 answer. So, as you can see, you can make some inappropriate word choices, but you should be able to use vocabulary flexibly and be able to use some less common and idiomatic vocabulary. Let's take another look at the question. And remember, the question was, tell me something about your home. As you can see, I changed quite to reasonably, and I added in to be honest, and I'd prefer more blue to include some more detail in the answer. Let's take a look at another example question and answer. So the question is, which is your favorite room? My favorite room is my bedroom. It's on the first floor and it is far away from the living room, which is always very loud because of the TV. It's very peaceful and private, and I spend lots of time there. So, what do you think we could do to improve this answer? Remember, the question was, which is your favourite room? So let's take a look and see how I changed this answer. So I changed is to has to be, and I added in is great as it, and I added in I feel relaxed when I'm in it, so. In your answers, try to use some more advanced phrases instead of the most common choice. Let's take a look at the third sample question and model answer for today. So, our question is, what do you like to do at home? And the sample answer is, I like watching movies with my family. My mother, father, brother, and I all like watching movies together. We try to watch a film every weekend. It's fun because we eat popcorn as if we are at the cinema. So, considering the marking criteria, how do you think we could improve this answer? Remember, the question was, what do you like to do at home? As you can see, I added in when I am at home to the beginning of the answer. I also changed like to love, and I added in we especially like watching comedies. Let's take a look at the fourth and final question for today's video. So our question is, what would you like to change about your home? And the sample answer is, I guess I wish it had a bigger garden. The garden is too small to play games in, but there is enough space to sunbathe or have a barbecue. I like playing tennis though, and I would like to be able to do so at home. So, what do you think we could do to change this answer? Remember, the question was, what would you like to change about your home? As you can see, I added in right now and however. I also changed like to enjoy and changed though to in my free time. So now let's quickly review all the questions from today's video. So our questions were, tell me something about your home. Which is your favorite room? What do you like to do at home? And what would you like to change about your home? So I suggest that you make a note of these questions so that you can practice them at home. Remember, once you are finished practicing what you would like to say, try to check your answers against the marking criteria and think about what you could do to improve your answer next time. Now it is time for our tip of the day. So today's tip is try to extend your answers. Hi everyone, thanks for watching this video. I'm Joanne and today I'm going to talk to you about the speaking section of the IELTS exam. Today I will be focusing on part 2 of the IELTS exam and our topic is home. Remember, the speaking exam lasts roughly 15 minutes and is split into 3 parts. As I said, today we will focus on part 2 of the exam, so be sure to check out the other videos in this series for more information on the exam itself, marking criteria, exam tips and useful phrases, as well as more example questions and model answers. Part 2 of the speaking exam is the individual long turn. This part lasts around 4 minutes. In it, the examiner will give you a task card which will ask you to speak on a particular topic. It will give you points to cover and one area for you to explain. You will also be given time to prepare. The marking criteria that I will focus on today is fluency and coherence. So, what is fluency and coherence? Well, this refers to how good the candidate is at talking at the right speed and how good they are at connecting their ideas together. The candidate needs to be able to understand and follow the rules of language at a word, sentence, and text level. Here you can see the marking criteria for a Band 7 answer. As you can see, you may hesitate, repeat, or self-correct at times, but you should be able to speak at length without noticeable effort or loss of coherence. And you should be able to use a range of connectives and discourse markers with some flexibility. As I mentioned, the examiner gives the candidate a task card, which asks the candidate to talk about a particular topic. It includes points to cover in their talk and instructs the candidate to explain one aspect of the topic. Candidates are given 1 minute to prepare their talk and are given a pencil and piece of paper to make notes. After which, the examiner asks the candidate to talk for around 1 or 2 minutes and will stop the candidate after 2 minutes. Now, as this part of the test focuses on the candidate's ability to speak at length on a given topic, it is likely that the candidate will need to draw on his or her own experience to complete the long term. So today our topic is home. So now let's look at some vocabulary to help us talk about our homes. Can you select the correct word to make up the sentence? Number 1, neighbor or neighborhood. Number 2, town or city. Town or city. Number 3, room or flat. Room or flat. Number 4, houses or homes. And number 5, house or home. So I suggest that you pause your video here to make a note of your answers. Now let's check our answers. Number 1, I live in a very friendly neighborhood. Number 2, I live in a small town, but I want to move to a big city. Number 3, I have the biggest room in my flat. Number 4, they are building 6 new houses. And number 5, it's not very big, but it is my home. Remember to make a note of any that you got wrong or found difficult. So now let's take a look at our example question for today. So your question is, tell me about your dream home. You should tell me what kind of building it is, where it is located, some important things it should contain, and explain why it is your dream home. Remember, you have 1 minute to prepare. In that time, I suggest writing 1 or 2 words per bullet point. Then, when you are speaking, you're able to move your hand down each bullet point, and this will help to ensure that you cover all of your points. So let's take another quick look at the question. So remember, our question is, tell me about your dream home. You should tell me what kind of building it is, where it is located, some important things it should contain, and explain why it is your dream home. So, in my example, I'm going to write the following words. A-frame, in nature, open plan, cozy, self-sufficient, and nature again. Remember, you have 1 minute to prepare, so before you start writing, take a deep breath and try to relax. After your 1 minute of planning ends, your 2 minutes of speaking begins. So I would start with the first bullet point and I would say, that's an excellent question. I have thought about this a lot as I love watching home design shows. My dream home would be an A-frame style house with timber cladding. Ideally, I would also like a rectangular section connected to the A-frame to create more space. I would then move on to the second bullet point and I would say, I would love the house to be located just outside of a town, but in nature, because I would love to be able to access the conveniences of a town, but be in nature. I would also want it to sit on a big garden or a small plot of land where I could plant trees, flowers, and some vegetables. I would then move on to the third bullet point and I would say, in the communal areas of the house, I would love it to feel open plan and spacious. I would also love a movie room or area for all of my books right at the top of the A-frame that would feel super cozy. I would then move on to the fourth and final bullet point and I would say, I love the style of A-frame buildings, so I would be really happy for my dream home to be in this style. Also, having a level of self-sufficiency is important to me, so my dream home needs to have enough outdoor space to make this possible. I think balance is important for happiness, so being near a town but also in nature would help to provide this balance. Since I have covered all 4 of my bullet points, I should be able to talk on the topic for around 2 minutes. I could also add in, for example, people spend so much time thinking about their dream home. A home can represent you as a person, and it is where you should feel safe and at peace. For me, this would be a beautiful, open plan, yet cozy home in nature, but near modern conveniences that would allow me to pursue my interests in being somewhat self-sufficient. Now it's your turn. If you haven't already, please get a pencil and some paper and put down your 4 bullet points. Your question is, tell me about your home. You should tell me what kind of building it is, where it is located, some important features, and explain why you like it. You have 1 minute to prepare. I suggest that you write 1 or 2 words per bullet point. You can pause the video here and set a timer for 1 minute so that you can plan. Let's take another look at the question. The question is, tell me about your home. You should tell me what kind of building it is, where it is located, some important features, and explain why you like it. Remember, when you're finished, check your answers against the marking criteria and have a think about what you could do to improve your answer next time. So now it's time for the tip of the day. And your tip is vary stress and intonation when speaking to add emphasis. Hi everyone, thank you for watching this video today. I'm Joanne and today I'm going to talk to you about the speaking section of the IELTS exam. Today I will be focusing on part 3 of the IELTS exam and our topic is home. As I have mentioned before, the speaking exam lasts roughly 15 minutes and is split into 3 parts, so be sure to check out the other videos in this series for more information on the exam itself, marking criteria, exam tips and useful phrases, as well as example questions and model answers. Today we are focusing on part 3 of the exam, which is the two-way discussion. It lasts roughly 5 minutes, and in this section the examiner will ask further questions related to the topic from part 2 of the exam. During this section, you have the opportunity to discuss more abstract issues and ideas. Today, I will be focusing on the marking criteria of grammatical range and accuracy. So this criteria considers the candidate's ability to use a range of structures and how well they use them. As well as the rules of language, this criteria considers the communicative functions of speech. Here you can see the marking criteria for a Band 7 answer. As you can see, the candidate may make some grammatical mistakes at times, but the candidate should be able to frequently produce error-free sentences and use a range of complex structures with some flexibility. Remember to check your answers against the marking criteria when you are practicing at home and have a think about what you can do to improve your answer next time. Keeping in mind the marking criteria that we've just looked at, Here's our first sample question. So our first question is, what qualities do good neighbours have? So, what kind of grammar structures do you think we could use in our answer? So, when I read that question, some grammar structures come to mind. For example, adverbs of certainty and modals. So, here's a model answer with the suggested grammar points highlighted. Remember, the question was, what qualities do good neighbours have? And the model answer is, the qualities that make a good neighbour probably vary from country to country. However, I believe there are certainly some qualities that are universal. One such quality is respect. A good neighbour must be respectful, and that should include a level of trustworthiness, as this will create a feeling of safety. In my opinion, a good neighbour should also be friendly, as this is certainly needed to create a welcoming neighbourhood. Let's take a look at another question. So the next question is, which is more attractive, buying or renting a home? So for this question and answer, what grammar structures do you think we could use? As you can see, I have suggested that we use comparatives in our answer. Here's a model answer with the different grammar points highlighted. So, our question was, which is more attractive, buying or renting a home? And the model answer is, this is an interesting question. I think in general, it depends on what stage of life you are in. However, in my opinion, the general goal would be buying a home. Therefore, buying a home is more attractive for a number of reasons. Buying a home offers more security than renting. Also, monthly mortgage repayments are often less than monthly rent payments. Buying offers you more control over your environment than renting does, as you can change your home. These advantages make buying overall better than renting. Another skill that the examiner is assessing is how well the candidate pronounces the language. As well as the communicative effects of the candidate's pronunciation, there is an evaluation of how much strain it causes the listener and how noticeable the accent is, although the accent itself is not a problem. Candidates need to be able to produce the phonological features of speech. Here you can see the marking criteria for pronunciation. As you can see, the candidate can mispronounce different words or sounds at times, but they should be able to be generally understood throughout the exam and show a range of pronunciation with mixed control. So, let's take a look at the last question for today, and this time we will focus on pronunciation. So, our example question is it better to grow up in a quiet neighbourhood or a busy one? And the model answer is, that's a great question, thank you. In my opinion, it is better to grow up in a relatively quiet neighbourhood. When I imagine a quiet neighbourhood, I picture it being in close proximity to nature. Access to nature is beneficial for child development and adult well-being. I also imagine quiet neighbourhoods to be more spacious and safer than busy neighbourhoods, which are both bonuses for children. So, as you can see in this answer, we've got some tricky words. So, I recommend breaking them down into syllables and practicing pronouncing them until you feel comfortable. Remember, our question is it better to grow up in a quiet neighbourhood or a busy one? This time you can see I have broken some of the more difficult words up into their syllables. So the words are relatively, proximity, beneficial, development, and spacious. If any of these words are hard for you, just make a note of them so you can repeat them at home until you feel more confident. Remember, you can always check the pronunciation of a word by Googling it. Now it is time for the tip of the day. And the tip of the day is, don't panic if you make a mistake. Panicking may lead to further mistakes, and remember, a band 7 is referred to as a good user in regards to skill level. So some errors are allowed. If you make a mistake, take a breath, correct yourself, and move on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and check out our other videos. You can find loads of useful links in the description below. Let's get started.